jump into questions for him.
I'm going to go Landon Young, fix my hair.
All right, Chandler Wilcox.
Hey Drake, I was just wondering how good it feels just to get back to battling Quentin Bohanna and Marquand McCall and all those big guys. Even though obviously it's difficult, just how good it is just to be back competing.
Those two guys are two of the best tackles in the conference, I've thought for a long time. I think the past 4 years going against Bohanna every day, we've only made each other better. And we were talking about that a little bit today during our pass rush one-on-one drill. We compete hard. I win some, he wins some, and I think we only make each other better. And same thing with Marquand. I think both those guys bring the energy every day. They're experienced, and they're hard to move.
John Hale.
Drake, you can't play linemen without getting close to other people and contacting them and being physical with the virus and everything. Does that play on your mind when you're practicing or going to be in games? How do you deal with that right now?
Yeah, and it's a good question. I think, of course, we're all taking the virus very serious outside of football, and I respect what's going on with all that. But when we hit the football field, we're football players and we're going out there to play football, and that's what's on our mind is going out there and practicing. And of course, when we're gathered up, yeah, we got our masks up and we're very conscious about it. But when I'm on the field, I'm not thinking about anything other than the game and what we're doing out there.
Thanks.
Josh.
Drake, I know you lost a little bit of weight there. Kind of what did you do this summer to focus on that process and kind of what's your obviously you want to be a little more agile, I guess, but what's kind of the thought process behind that, getting a little smaller?
Well, you're always trying to change your body every year, every off season, try to eat healthier, work out hard, transform fat into muscle. But in March, when we were hit with the quarantine, I decided it could go one of two ways. I could get fat and out of shape, or I could lose weight and stay in shape. So I decided the latter, and I'm glad I did it. I think going into your senior year kind of hits you. It's not like I never took it serious before, but now it's really time to get serious, and I had a lot of help doing that, and I feel great. I lost probably 30 pounds over that off season, and I'm putting it back on, and I feel great. I'm moving better than ever, have all my strength, and the guys in the weight room did a really good job in nutrition, and I'm excited to see how it plays off.
If I follow up real quick, for all you guys, that quarantine experience and that layoff, how do you just talking with your unit, just kind of keep weight and try to work out and not eat too much? Because I know all of us, we're all stuck at home, and it's easy to look at the fridge and have fun with it.
I think when we came back and we looked at that offensive line room, I was really, really surprised to see how many guys took care of themselves. Take a guy like Nick Lewis, who went from mid-upper 300s down to the lower part of 300s, and he looks better than ever. He's a totally different person. And when you look at a lot of guys, Luke Fortner is looking thick, and he's looking good. Darian Kennard. Really, I could go on and on. But I don't think there's one guy in that offensive line room that got fat and out of shape. And I think that's a testament to the standards that we've set in that room and what's expected of us. And Coach Schlarman harping on it every day and having so much experience and leadership in that group. It's not just one person or two or three or four. There's a whole group of guys that all know how to take care of their stuff. And I think that shows on the field and it shows off the field.
John Clay.
Drake, you're talking about taking the virus seriously, but all the uncertainty around when you hear things like Vanderbilt's pause practice, Notre Dame's pause practice, North Carolina sent students home. How is it? Is it difficult to keep focus and deal with all the uncertainty going on?
I don't know if I would say it's difficult to keep focus. Of course, we look at the news, we jump on, we see what's going on, but have to stay where your feet are. And right now, we're in fall camp, and the staff here, everybody involved, training staff, equipment staff, coaching staff, everybody involved has done such a great job with our setup. Yeah, it's a little, it's very strict, but I don't think it's hindering our ability to prepare for the season. And we've had such a low amount of cases, it's really paying off for us. And you can't, I wish all the schools were doing it like we are. I don't know how everybody's handling it, but obviously we're doing something right because we're keeping the cases down and we're getting better on the field as well.
Nick,
What's the huddle like now that Terry Wilson's back in it?
Fast. Terry, I love Terry. He's a great dude, and he's always been professional about the way he handles everything, and that's why he's 12-3 as a starter, and we're excited to have him back, just because of what he's able to do. But it's not just him. I think we have some guys out at the receiver position that are starting to make plays, and we have a three-headed monster at running back, maybe even more than three. I don't know. And so much experience, and yeah, we love having Terry back. It's different. We're running real offense, but I think he's handled everything really well for himself.
got two more. John Long.
Hi, Drake. You're considered one of the leaders on this team. And so what would you say to one of your teammates if they came up to you and expressed some concerns about playing this year and maybe we're talking about opting out? What advice would you be giving them?
I think when you make a decision like that, you have to get as much information as possible. You have to talk to people that you trust. And there have been conversations about that with guys. Of course, I'm not going to name names or what exactly they were talking about, but I would always tell them, try to gather as much information as you can so that you're not just making an emotional decision. And it's like that in everything. When you're thinking about transferring, you're thinking about declaring for the NFL, no matter what it is you're doing, I try to tell them the same thing. Gather your information, talk to people that you trust, don't rush into a decision. But you ultimately have to do what's best for you. I don't know if we're going to have an issue with that. I think we have the type of program now where we're always going to have our seniors playing in bowl games, and we got guys that want to play football because we trust our staff, we trust everything we have going on here. There's really no reasons to turn us off.
John Hale.
Drake, yesterday when the NCAA said they were going to give everybody an extra year of eligibility, regardless of what happens this fall or spring or whenever games are played, I think a lot of fans got really excited thinking about an entire senior class coming back next year. But I assume for guys who are draft prospects like you, it might not be that easy. Just what did that decision mean to you, and just how will you make those kind of decisions?
Well, I think it's a great decision what they're doing. Of course, there's going to be a lot involved with that. Everybody's situation is different. You just look at our senior class. My situation is different than Boogie, Landon, Terry, AJ, all those guys. I think giving us the option to do that was the right decision because it has been such a strange year. But in terms of personally, I'm never one to think very far ahead. I'm focused on practice for Monday.
All right, we'll wrap it up with Jeff Drummond.
Hey, Drake, just kind of wondering, you guys have always kind of played with a chip on your shoulder, the program in general, the last few years, and getting to where you've gotten. Now you've had kind of an off season of everybody telling, especially the offensive line group, how good you are, and you're showing up on all these All-American lists and that type of thing. What's the process like now that, from the outside, the mentality has changed about how they view you guys?
Well, we keep each other in check. I lost 30 pounds, but every day I walk in that O-line room, there's still fat jokes being thrown around. So we keep each other in check. And I think when you have what we have in that room, you look at the leadership, the coach that we have in there going into his 8th season here at Kentucky, there's been so much already established that complacency and getting a big head isn't an issue. Sure, we still have to fight that and make sure that doesn't happen, but I think the blue collar work ethic doesn't just go away just because we got a little recognition. At least I haven't seen that.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate everybody bearing with us as we get used to this.